There is one spot I am worried about out of this whole car and everything I've done. It's right here. I rescued this IROC-Z out of a barn in Texas for $1,000. Now we're sanding it flat and getting it ready for paint so this thing looks like a show car when we're done.
Hey Dad, what are you doing?
Well, Bud, we're getting the Camaro ready for paint, and Tio Mickey came by, and he's hammering out some high spots. He's actually a award-winning painter and bodyman up in Phoenix. Right now, he's adding some more of the Evercoat Rage Ultra to fill in a low spot. Now he's going to sand it down after it dries and get it nice and flat. The whole purpose of all this sanding is getting every panel flat as can be. So here we see he's adding a little bit more filler to the edge of the door.
Why are we sanding the Camaro?
Like I said, we're going to get it as flat as it can be so that when you look at it in the sunlight, it looks perfect along the sides. There's no waves, there's no ripples. So we've got to sand it down and get it perfectly flat. See, every little spot needs to be sanded. Now we have to wear gloves because the oils on our hands can get onto the car, and then that would turn into fish eyes. And it protects our hands from all the dust and keeps them clean.
What's the black powder?
That's called guide coat. So what it does is it goes into all the low spots and all the little sand scratches, and it stays there until you sand it away. It tells you where all your defects are. Because when you paint a car, it doesn't hide any of the defects, it magnifies them. Every low spot, every sand scratch, it doesn't cover it, it highlights it. Because if you don't get rid of all those sand scratches, you'll see them under the paint, and you'll be chasing them every time you polish the car, thinking there's something on the paint when it's really in the paint. Tio Mickey did us a huge favor and already sanded the whole car in 120 grit. According to the TDS sheet, we need to get it to 400 for the sealer. So we're going to do 220, then 320, and then a final at 400. After the sealer, we're going to wet sand it at 600 grit, and then the surface is going to be perfectly smooth and ready for paint. Now we're putting tape here so that we can sand and keep the body line. You know, maybe I am crazy because at most I'll be able to drive this to like the gas station. This condition that causes me to have seizures, but I don't like shake or anything. I just lock up. So all my muscles tighten and I can't move. So I can't drive because of that. I'm building this in the hopes that one day I'll be able to use it, but knowing most likely I can't. And that's fun.
Are you done yet?
Why am I on this chair? Now we're really starting to see where these low spots are. Slow and steady wins the race.
Crazy, but again, I love taking.
Am I the only one who watches Alex while he's working on cars?
You can really feel the paper work when you're on like a small section like this and like know that your hand position is changing how it's working. So I'm using the brush as opposed to blowing it off, so that it drops to the floor and I can vacuum it up and it's not everywhere. What's your go-to for when you're doing stuff project-wise? Do you listen to music? If so, what type? Are you watching videos? Are you enjoying the silence? Audiobooks? Podcasts? What do you guys listen to? I'm putting my finger here and using that to kind of guide along this, so I'm not digging into the fender.
What do you have to do next?
Well, we got to keep sanding on every panel, make sure they're all flat, and if we find any low spots, fill them in with body filler or glazing putty. So we just got to keep sanding and make sure everything's flat. So this is glazing putty. It's a little different than filler. It's for pinholes and small scratches and like small low spots that normal filler is a bit too much to fill. So with a little bit of hardener, that's way too much hardener, and this one just hardened up on me and broke into pieces. But just a little bit of hardener, mix it up and skim it on there real thin, and then we're going to sand it down or guide coat it and then sand it again. And by sanding it down again, we get rid of all the flaws that were there underneath, and now it's going to be one smooth, flat surface, ready for paint. See, we always add guide coat because that's going to help us identify where the issues are and where to keep sanding. There is one spot I am worried about out of this whole car and everything I've done. It's right here. This is where that big dip was. And I pulled it out as much as I could, beat the crap out of it, got it all straightened out, but there was still a little bit. So I did have to do like a bit of a deeper bit extra Bondo, but yeah, you can hear it. But hopefully looks great. We'll see here in a bit. After sanding the door down, that area that I was worried about, there is no issues, no low spots, no high spots. It sanded flat and it turned out beautifully. Thank God. That area on the bottom of the door I was worried about, sanded out perfectly. So here I'm using one of those big blocks. I'll put a link in the description, but it was a little flimsy for this. So I added one of the 5-gallon paint sticks from Home Depot and just taped it to it so that it was flat and solid without the bendiness. Made it real easy. Finally sanding down the hood, had to break through all the orange peel with 120 grit, and then sanded it down to 400 like everything else. Turned out fantastic. Once I got through the orange peel from the primer, it was smooth sailing. Same thing with the hatch lid. Once we got through that orange peel, there was no low spots and this thing cleaned up wonderfully. I like to vacuum when I can to keep the dust low.
Are we ever gonna paint it?
Yeah, bud, paint's the next step. After 400 grit, we're going to put it in sealer, then wet sand it at 600, and then paint. Just wrapping up the sanding here on the final fender, making sure everything's flat and ready for paint. Everything's now sanded at 400 grit. We're ready for sealer. Next step is to build a paint booth. We're going to tackle that next, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to follow along and learn how to build your own paint booth. See you in the next one.